So I'm here today to ask everybody, you ever feel like the whole world's turned into a bad reality show? Like everything we hear, every headline, every breaking news alert is just one big twisted performance, scripted for maximum drama. And not like we haven't always been surrounded by lies. I mean, hell, the oldest profession in the world might be lying. It's not what you guys were thinking. No, come on. But today the lies feel sharper, louder, and somehow official. I mean, every time I open my phone, I ask myself, is any of this real? Are we living in some dystopian sci-fi flick where truth is just another casualty of the algorithm? When you scroll through social media and it's like an endless parade of steak oil salesmen, each promising you the truth. But here's the thing, they can't all be telling the truth, can they? So who's lying? Or maybe the better question is, who isn't? Now hold on, because before we convince ourselves that this is some 21st century plague, let's remember, we didn't invent this misinformation. We've just perfected. You got to rewind back a little ways, Now the ancient Greeks had their share of liars. Julius Caesar, that guy probably would have been the king of fake news if Twitter existed in his day. And propaganda, I mean, come on. That's been around forever. I mean, I'm talking pamphlets in the 1600s, radio broadcasts in the 30s, full-blown media manipulation during World War II. I mean, but the difference was you knew where the lies were coming from back then. There were clear sides. You had the enemy, the government. It wasn't the guy sitting across from you at Thanksgiving dinner telling you that everything you know is wrong because he read it on some shady website. But here we are in the so-called information age, only now it feels more like the disinformation age. I mean, technology was supposed to connect us, to make us smarter, faster, more informed. Instead, it's made us gullible. I mean, sure, there are the cat videos and memes, but I mean, at the heart of it, social media has turned into that breeding ground of lies and false tales and bad news. I mean, you know what the most dangerous weapon today is? It's not a gun or a bomb. It's a meme. A cleverly worded post that goes viral before anybody has a chance to fact check it. And that's how the lie spreads. Quicker than wildfire. I mean, while the truth is still fumbling around trying to get its boots on, that lie is out there. And you do have to acknowledge these algorithms, these invisible puppet masters behind every swipe and click. You would think that you're just seeing what's trending, but think again. That machine isn't showing you what you need to know. It's feeding you what you want to believe, whatever confirms your fears, your suspicions, your anger, because the truth is boring. It doesn't sell, but a lie that fits your worldview, that is viral gold. And that is how you get trapped in these echo chambers where every post, every headline just bounces your beliefs right back at you. And when you hear something enough times, it starts to feel true, even if it's the farthest thing from the truth. Now I get it. We're all human. We're wired to believe things that make sense to us, even if they're wrong. It's called confirmation bias. I mean, that little part of the brain that says, hey, this makes sense. It must be true. And then boom, you've been hooked. And once you're in, it's almost impossible to get out. And they know this, the people behind the misinformation. They know exactly how to play us. They don't have to convince everyone, just enough people. Because once that lie is out there, it is impossible to take it back. Like trying to put that toothpaste back in the tube. I mean, good luck with that. And look, this isn't some sort of abstract, oh, people are confused issue. No, it's deeper than that. It's tearing us apart bit by bit. It's in our homes, our communities, our politics. People don't trust their neighbors anymore, let alone the news. I mean, hell, we don't even trust our own eyes half the time. Was that video real? Was that photo doctored? I mean, we've gotten to the point where reality itself feels like it's completely up for grabs. And that's terrifying because that misinformation, these lies, that fake news, it's not harmless. It doesn't just make you feel a little off balance. No, it can destroy relationships. It can divide families and it can push nations to the brink. So how did we get here? How did we let misinformation take that wheel and drive us off the cliff? I mean, one word. Fear. Fear makes us vulnerable. It's like blood in the water to the sharks of the lies and fake news. I mean, think about it. When people are afraid, they want answers. They crave certainty, even if it's based on a lie. And that's what makes it so dangerous. These lies are tailor-made to fit our worst fears and our deepest insecurities, our need to make sense of the chaotic world. And you know what's really funny? In a really dark, twisted way, these lies don't even need to be sophisticated anymore. It used to be this carefully orchestrated thing. Today, a meme with a bold headline and a scary looking graphic is enough to do the job. It doesn't even have to be true as long as it feels true. And if you sprinkle in a little bit of outrage, people will eat it up without even asking questions. It is no accident that the most shared stories online are often the least factual. Why? Because the truth rarely stirs people up. The truth is often complicated, nuanced, and dare I say, boring. But lies are exciting. They're dramatic. They tell us what we want to hear, or maybe what we fear the most. And in a world where outrage equals engagement, lies will always win. But here's the real kicker. It's not just happening in some distant corner of the internet, in the dark recesses of conspiracy forums. No, it's everywhere. It's on mainstream news. It's in our political debates. It's in the classroom, the boardroom, in the voting booth. This isn't some fringe problem. This is the problem. And the consequences, they're real. They're personal. I mean, think about it. How many families have been torn apart over conspiracy theories? How many friendships have ended over arguments that started with someone sharing a meme they didn't even bother to fact check? It's happened to all of us. That line between fact and fiction has been so blurred that we don't even know who to trust anymore. Look at the political landscape. This misinformation has given us chaos. It's turned every election into a circus, every political health crisis into a battleground. It's divided us into camps where the other side is not just wrong, they're evil. And that's the real tragedy. We're no longer disagreeing about ideas. We're disagreeing about reality itself. And when you can't even ever agree on what's real, how do you move forward? And it's not just here at home. Globally, these lies have become a tool of war. Countries are using it to destabilize their enemies, to sow discord, to manipulate public opinion. We've seen it happen with elections, with international conflicts, and even with the global crisis like climate change. In fact, it's hard to tell where misinformation ends and strategy begins anymore. It's become a weapon in its own right. So who's behind all this? Who benefits from this age of deceit? Well, it's not just the fringe conspiracy theorists in their basements, though they play their part. Nah, the real power players are far more sophisticated. It's governments, corporations, political operatives. They've all realized that controlling the narrative is as valuable as controlling resources. If you can shape what people believe, you can shape the world. And you better believe there's money in this. Big money. These outright lies and fake news and misinformation is big business. Because when you control the narrative, you control the people. You sell fear, and then you sell solutions to that fear. But here's the thing. We do not have to stay trapped. We're not powerless in this. We don't have to accept this new reality where lies become truth simply because they're repeated enough times. There are ways to fight back, but it starts with us. People like you, me, your neighbor. I mean, the first step, critical thinking. And I don't mean just being skeptical. I mean really asking hard questions. Where is this information coming from? Who benefits if I believe it? And most importantly, is it actually true? It sounds simple, but you would be amazed how often we skip that last step. We let our emotions do the thinking for us. And that's exactly what these manipulators are counting on. And it's not just about protecting ourselves. It's about protecting others. We need to start teaching media literacy like it's a life skill. Because guess what? In an age where we're bombarded with more information than we can process, being able to discern fact from fiction is just as important as reading or math. Maybe more so. And yeah, we need more accountability from the tech companies too. I mean, these platforms are designed for the spread of misinformation and fake news, and they know it. They profit from it. We've seen some half-hearted attempts to rein it in, but it's not enough. We need transparency in how these algorithms work. We need more responsibility from the companies that control what billions of people see every day. But here's the real question, the one we started with. Are we living in an age of deceit? Or are we just more aware of the deceit that's always been there? Now, maybe it's a bit of both. Lies have always been with us, but now they're on steroids, amplified by technology and spreading faster than ever before. But that doesn't mean we're doomed to drown in them. The truth is still out there. It's just harder to find. But when we fight for it, when we demand it, the truth can still break through that noise. Because at the end of the day, truth matters. It's what holds us together. It's what keeps us grounded. I mean, without it, everything falls apart. So maybe the real question isn't, are we living in an age of deceit? Maybe the real question is, what are we going to do about it?